Okay, so let's talk about the dichotomy of control. This is the basic fundamental idea of Stoicism. Basically, almost everything that you will hear and think about Stoicism is based on this concept. And the dichotomy of control is quite simple. It's maybe a bit challenging to apply, but it's really simple to understand. And this is that in everything in our lives, everything that happens around our lives, we have things that we can control and things that we can't control. We cannot control. And the Stoic idea is that we should always focus on what we can control. And everything that we can't control, we should just accept. Now, what are the things that we can control? So according to the Stoics, it's quite simple. We can control our thoughts and our actions. So this means we can control our opinions, our goals, our desires, our reactions to facts and events. So those are the things that we can control. Everything else we can't. Yeah, so but how does this translate to reality? The thing is, a lot of anxiety and worry comes from one of those two situations. I'm either trying to control something that I can't control, or I'm not taking responsibility for what I can control. Usually when you are in this space of trying to control what you can't, this builds anxiety, this builds worry, you feel overwhelmed. When you are in this area where you are not taking full responsibility for what you can control, that's where you put yourself in the victim role. You think everything happens to you and you have nothing to do with that. So let's go for a practical example. So a famous example from the Stoics is from the archer. That an archer could practice, they could take care of their bow, they could make sure that they have the most straight arrows that they can. But once they shoot the arrow, there will be nothing else in their control. A gust of wind can blow the arrow out of the way and may not hit the target. The target itself may move. So the basic idea is do the best that you can towards what you can control and just accept the results. Don't evaluate them. And that's an interesting concept because it goes kind of against a lot of things that we learn. Because we should learn with the results, with the fact that's true. But the idea is that we should not evaluate them as good or bad, but just as they are. So if I did something and the result was not what I wanted, I learned that something that I did could have been done better. Or I gain experience for the next time, do better and maybe achieve what I want. This idea also gives us more energy to really try something, because if the result, I'm completely conscious that the result is not on my hands, that what I can do is to do my best, and the results I have to accept, I have less resistance to try, like this video, like this channel. So if I'm not attached to the results that I will get, I'm much more likely to just turn on the camera and start recording instead of be just thinking and never really acting. So basically you either do something about it or you don't worry for everything in your life. In this video here, the link will also be in the description, I actually applied the dichotomy of control on the happiness. So how I am responsible for my happiness and how I'm responsible for other people's happiness. So you can apply this to different areas of your life, and this will give you clarity and much less anxiety because you are not focusing on what you can't control. Now let's talk a bit about the circle of influence that is proposed by Stephen Covey in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Because there, Covey explains that there is an area of concern. So this is everything that I care about. Everything out of this area of concern, this circle of concern, are things that I actually don't care. Inside of this circle of concern, there are things that I can influence, and this will be my circle of influence. And there are some people that even propose an area inside the circle of influence, which would be the area of control. So basically, the area of control would be things that I can directly impact out of the area of control, but inside the circle of influence, it would be things that I can impact indirectly. Example, a job interview. So a job interview for sure is in my circle of concern, something that I care about. It is also inside my circle of influence, because the more I prepare for this job interview, the better it may go. But inside this, there's my area of control, that those are the things that I can do about it. So I can study, I can maybe research about the company, I can maybe talk to some friends that have more experience with this kind of interview. So those are the things that I can do. Now, comparing to the dichotomy of control, the dichotomy of control would be black and white. So all the things that I just mentioned that I can do, those are the things that I will focus on. Results are not on my radar. And now I want to explain why I prefer this Stoic idea. Because what Covey is saying is actually that in some way you can control what is in your area of influence. But this can also build some anxiety. So if you stick to the example of the job interview, if you think that this is in your area of influence and you think you did your best, you may expect that it will go well. You may expect, okay, that's the result that I'm aiming for. I did my best, I did my influence there, and that's what I will get. And then you don't get. And that's the part where you may feel frustrated, because you may feel like it is in my area of influence, it should have gone the way I wanted. While with the dichotomy of control, no, I did my best, everything else is not on me. The thing is, job interviews sometimes are just facade. Sometimes the job is actually already reserved for someone. There's someone, an ex-employee, someone, relative, who is already the one who will get the job. It doesn't matter how well you do in the interview, but you don't know that. So that's the risk that I see in looking at this influence circle. And while when you stick to the dichotomy of control, you never know why you didn't get the job. If you did your best, you can rest assured I did my best. If the job wasn't for me, then it wasn't on me. But I'm more prepared for the next job interview. Now, something that is also really hard to assimilate in this dichotomy of control is that when the Stoic says the only thing that we can control are our thoughts and our actions. Those are the things that we can control. But when you look at the things that they say this we can't control, you may be a bit puzzled, because they say we cannot control the result of things we do. We can't control our health. We can't control our possessions. We can't control our reputation. We can't control what other people think about us. And I think this is one of the most common things that builds anxiety and hold us back from doing what we want to do. It's this concept that I want to control what others think about me, and that's why I'm not doing things that I dream of doing, things that I want to do. If you look from the perspective of the Stoicism, I actually can't control what others think, so I better do what is better for me. I better do the best that I can. And again, there will be people who will not like me, no matter what I do. And that's not on me if I'm being true to myself, if I'm doing the best that I can. I hope this helps, and I see you in the next video. Bye.